super excited to have Sheena on the show. Hi, everyone. We're going to get started in just a second. So,
Gotcha.
Good morning, Cleo. Thank you for joining. Okay.
Yes, I do. I see
your
it
friends
now.
to be able to see. Okay. Go ahead and then we'll start the show.
Yes, I went ahead and shared it.
All right. It shows that you shared it. All right, people, we're going to get started with the show. All right. Welcome to the Release Show. I'm your host, Brittany Skyers. On today's show, we'll be speaking with Sheena. Sheena Prophete is a friend of mine. We both met at work. She is a devoted wife, loving mother of two, and a human resources professional. The thought of finding direction in a world filled with countless options seems akin to finding a needle in a haystack. Preferences change as we grow and encounter challenge. Morals are sculpted from years of crude assurance. Life pushes us at boundaries we once thought to be rigid, as if it counsels us into the person we are meant to be. Sheena grew up in a relatively large family of 9 siblings, where she was known for her meek and shy demeanor, but her personality truly flourished during her teenage years. Sheena originally went to college to pursue a nursing degree, but changed her major several times before finding her professional calling in human resources. Faith being a huge part of her life, Sheena was really active in her home church, where she participated in youth group activities and everything that involved singing, because music is her first love. In fact, singing at church worship night was how she met her now husband of 10 years. Let's welcome Sheena Prophete.
Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Hey.
My fashionista friend.
Yes, honey. Yes.
Girl, I missed you at work, honey. We was like so fashionable at work, and people
Yes,
like,
we were.
Yeah. So how is life? How is everything?
Listen, everything is good. Everything is great. God is great, so
Amen.
everything is great,
Yes. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Being a family means you're a part of something very wonderful. It means you'll love and be loved for the rest of your life. Please describe your family dynamic growing up.
Absolutely. So my family dynamics growing up was pretty cool, pretty good. And we had a close knit relationship with everyone. And I grew up doing the regular, girl things that, a little girl would do growing up, right? So I was the ballerina. I did piano lessons. I was in Girl Scouts, had sleepovers with my favorite cousin. And my 2 little brothers, of course, grew up. So I grew up with 3, me and my 2 little brothers. I was the oldest in the house. And then, of course, my cousin sister, I call her cousin sister because, we grew up together. We went to the same school together, we were practically in the same class. So, we grew up in a really good, close-knit family. So, of course, with that being said, there always is the drama in, family, right? We all got it. We all got it, right? So I guess the drama in my family would have been, just with my father and my mother.
Okay.
My father and my mother didn't marry, but when I was just 2 years old, my mom did end up leaving my father. And she just kind of like up and left or whatever. So of course I'm hearing the story as I'm older, because I hear the story. Of course they tell you all the stories afterwards.
Right.
But apparently she did up and leave. I don't have a clear reason why, because mom really never really told me. But she kind of just up and left or whatever the case may be. And my father didn't have any communication with us for a long time. And according to him, he was searching for me, trying to find me. And, he would ask everybody, all of our friends, people who know us and stuff like that. And he finally found me at the age of maybe 7 or 8.
Wow.
And of course, I was like, what's going on? Like, who's this? Like, because, she didn't really, tell me anything about him or whatever the case may be. But I guess it's because I was young, right?
Right. Mhm.
However, when my father finally found me, he decided and was determined to be in my life. And, we have a great relationship now, and everything is great. So.
Well, that's great that he found you, honey. We all need our parents, and I think our relationships with our parents are very important, especially to our lives. And so, my next question is family important to you? If so, why?
Absolutely. Family is super important to me because they're your biggest cheerleaders. They're your biggest supporters, Like, family is everything. So I definitely hold family really close to my heart. And like, like you said in my bio, I love music, right? So
Mm-hmm.
my favorite quote about family is that there are family is like a song, right? So there are
Right.
high notes, there are low notes, but at the end of the day, it is a beautiful song, So
Yeah.
there's highs, there's lows, there's
Yeah.
dramas, and there's the good stuff, the family reunion and everything like that. However, you have to understand that there are always going to be high and low moments, but at the end of the day, family is everything. It's a beautiful song and it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, that is so true. Well, I know you are married to your best friend. I would like to know, where did you and your husband meet, and where was your first date?
Yes. So, like you said in my bio, faith is a huge part of my life. And apparently, to him as well, it was a huge part
Mhm.
of his life. So, funny enough, I would see him in the community because we were, we are from the Caribbean, so my parents are from Haiti, and so
Okay.
the Haitian community would always do church activities with each other with different churches, and so I kind of was going to different churches, kind of ministering and singing all the time, and most of the churches do things together, like I said, but I would always see him at these events. And I
Uh-huh.
always thought there was something interesting about him. Like, I always thought
Mhm.
there was something really interesting about him. So one night, we ended up at his church, specifically at his church, and my group was gonna minister. So after we finished ministering, while we were ministering, I was telling the girls that were in the group, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's him!" Like, like that's the guy that I was be talking about, and I always see him and everything like that. So unbeknownst to me, child, they done it was like, you know what? We gonna go give him your number. And I was like, no, 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 don't give him my number. Girls, we're like, no, no,
No,
no.
no.
So, but in hindsight, I'm so happy that they did because he
Uh-huh.
ended up calling me the next night.
Wow. Yes.
Yes, yes. So that's kind of how and the rest is kind of history, So, and we known each other. We were friends for 5 years. We courted for 5 years before we got married, and
Okay.
we are now married 10 years. Thank God.
Wow, that is a beautiful story.
Yes, yes.
Well, planning a wedding is totally different from planning a marriage. What kind of mindset should you have before getting married?
Mindset is everything, let me tell you, because marriage has this whole gloomy thing around it, like it's scary and people don't know what to get into and or what they're going to get into, right? So too
Hmm.
often we see so many people go into marriage not really knowing
Yes.
what it's about.
Yes.
We drive, we learn how to drive and we get a
Hmm.
license, right? But
Hmm.
nobody really ever teaches us what it is to be married or teaches
Yes.
us how to marriage or whatever
Hmm.
the case may be. So I think the mindset that you have to have going to the marriage is making sure it's a healthy mindset. And let
Yes.
me explain that. A healthy mindset means before you get into that marriage, my love, you have to care for yourself and make sure you're whole yourself, make sure
Hmm.
all the baggage, everything that you went through in your childhood has been dealt with,
Yes.
because you do not want to bring that baggage into your marriage. Here goes you and your husband or you and your wife starting this new journey. You want it to be healthy. You want it to
Right.
be, good. You want it to be successful at the end of the day. So before you get into that marriage, you want to take care of yourself. Make sure you get some counseling. Make sure you seek that help that you need to take care of you. Make sure you're whole. Make sure your
Mhm.
relationship with God is on point. That you
Yes.
have, coming into that relationship so that you guys both can succeed. So when you have two healthy people in a relationship, how can you not succeed? How can you
Right.
not succeed? Because you guys have dealt with all of the baggage. So I definitely think that mindset is a healthy mindset to have before entering into the marriage.
I agree 100%. Healing yourself before being in a relationship with someone else is very important, because if not, you're going to go through a lot of struggles, because you're going to be dealing
Absolutely.
with things that are inside of you, and then trying to handle a marriage was going to clash and cause more problems than if you healed prior, you wouldn't be going through.
Absolutely.
So, how would you describe your marriage?
So our marriage, I would describe it as lighthearted and in sync, I would say. Those are the two words that come to mind. So lighthearted because, my husband is a comedian, okay? He's just funny as all get out, and he just makes me laugh all the time. I'm literally crying in tears all the time because he's always joking. And we don't take life too seriously, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course there are situations where you have to take serious and you have to really think about it and go in, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, we love to coast. We love to enjoy life. We love to have fun, all the time, because
Uh-huh.
life is way too serious. Life is way too stressful for us to
Yes.
be, really, stressing over. So that's why I'd say lighthearted. But in sync is that we see eye to eye. We're very like on one accord. We see each other's needs, and we're like here, like I could be in a party and he could be across the room. I look at him, we already know what's up. We already know what's up. Like,
Love
we leaving, all right, we leaving. So we're so in sync that, it's just great. It's just great.
I think the NSYNC part is very, very, very important. That is a beautiful thing. And I love how you describe your marriage. A strong marriage rarely has two strong people at the same time. It is a husband and a wife who takes turns being strong for each other in the moments when the other feels weak. How would you describe a time when you had to be strong for one another in your relationship?
Yeah. So here goes the heavy stuff, right?
Yes.
so
Yes.
So, of course, like I said, we don't take life so seriously. However, I definitely do remember a time where uh, I had to be strong for him, because of his diagnosis. And my husband, 4 years ago, has been diagnosed with end stage renal failure, which means that his kidneys are not functioning the way they should be, like a normal person, like you and I.
Yes.
So it doesn't filter, his kidneys don't filter correctly, just like a normal person. So he does need a transplant for both of his kidneys, and in order for him to be sustained, to be okay. And he does do dialysis about 3 times a week for about 5 hours per
Mhm.
day. And so that's pretty stressful. However, throughout this whole journey that we've been through, with his illness and his sickness, I've definitely had to be the strong person for him. And, I I had to be there for him, make sure that he's okay. And, he's been through so much, so many surgeries. He
Mm.
actually did get a transplant, which rejected, unfortunately.
Wow.
And, I just remember at that moment, when he went in for those surgeries, he, he was in a coma for so many
Mm.
days, and he actually coded 3 times in front of me, like, kind of died and came back to life 3 times. And I remember just remembering, like, I just had to stop and like, God, what is going on? I can't
Mm.
take it anymore. Like, I just can't right now, because he coded in front of me. I literally seen my husband die 3 times and come back to life. And I remember when he was in the coma, him waking up, frantically and like, what's going on? What's going on? And I had to keep on reminding him because of the medication that he was on. His memory was his had been lost. So I had to be like, hey, babe, we're okay. We're in the hospital. You're fine. You're just in a coma right now. Just rest. Don't worry about it. And then, he'll fall back asleep and then wake up again. And it'll be the cycle over and over and over again that whole day. So I do remember in those times where I had to be strong for the family, my children, his mom, and had to really be sustained by the Lord, okay? Because if it was not for the Lord, but God, if it wasn't for him, I don't know where we would be at this moment, because he has been the one who strengthened me, and I'm able to have that strength for him and all of us, So it's only God that has sustained us.
Amen. Praise God. Difficult roads lead to beautiful places. After you found out your husband was diagnosed with end-stage kidney failure, how did you feel?
It was tough. I'm not gonna lie, it was tough, because he was the strongest man I knew. Like, he is the strongest guy I know, and to
Right.
see, to think that this could happen to him, for me, I was confused, and I was like, wait, no, what? This is what we're gonna have to deal with. What, at first, when you first get that type of news, you're like, what am I going to do? How are we going to handle this? Like, no lie, I want to be truthful. Like, it takes you back. Like, whoa, you have to step back. But, I felt like we weren't going to be able to handle this. And I was correct, because we aren't able to handle it. It's God who's actually giving us that strength. It's God that's actually sustaining us. It's God that's actually, sustaining him and strengthening him and making sure that, we're both on this journey and we're good, So it did take us back a little bit, and it kind of like, wow. But we've been maintaining, and he's sustained us. And that's all that I could say. I could only chalk it up to God, who has sustained us.
Just giving you the strength. That's right. COVID has changed everyone's life. How has COVID impacted your marriage and family?
Ooh, COVID. Ooh, Corona.
COVID.
COVID has definitely affected our family. I would say in a way that it just shifted things. It didn't honestly, really make, any kind of change. It just shifted. So basically, it's your perspective on how you look at things, right?
Right.
So, basically, we're all healthy, praise the Lord.
Amen.
And we have not come in contact with anyone who has COVID as well, so we're very careful when we do go out. My husband does still do his treatments, and the treatment center is very, very, very careful when they're doing things. I was able to work from home, so that's how it affected me, because thank the Lord, I was able to still have my job and work from home. So it affected my children, of course, because all of the children are out from school. And so I found myself being a teacher. I find myself being an HR manager, teacher, wife, a wife, a mom, it all. Okay. Girl, I'm a cook. Girl, everything, okay?
COVID has changed us forever. Oh, geez,
Listen, and you know what? But it is your perspective on how you deal with it. And if you let it beat you down, it will beat you down. But if you see it as, you know what, this is something for us to kind of pause, because I often say that all the time. God maybe wanted us all to just pause, because we all were ripping and running to go to work, ripping and running to go to school, ripping and running to do everything, But I think it has affected us in a way where we are closer. We appreciate life. We appreciate each other even much more. We appreciate our friends that we can telecommunicate with, each other over online, because we're not going out or anything like that. But I think COVID has opened our eyes and has made us appreciate so much that we have in our life. And we just have to thank God for each and every day that we have breath, each and every day that you wake up, because
Yes.
He is the one sustaining us and walking us through life, because God literally has planned our whole life. We are just walking in that journey.
Yes, that is so true. Well, I'm going to turn the conversation to something else. What if, okay, marriages go through hard times, right? There's some that are great, there's some that are going through really hard times, and being quarantined with a husband or a wife where you were thinking about divorce. And I know it's really, really, really hard to deal with someone when you're thinking about divorce and having to be quarantined in a household with them. So, what advice would you give those whose marriage is on the rocks?
It is so unfortunate that we see that divorce is on the rise right now because of this pandemic that we are going through, right?
Yes.
And the statistics are just keep on going, higher and higher. And, the advice that I would give to a marriage that is on the rocks right now is, the same way. It's funny how, because we give tips on our videos, me and my husband, we do
Mm-hmm.
videos where we give tips to couples. Right
Mm-hmm.
now in this quarantine time, we were so used to going to work,
Yes.
going to work. Each of us are going to our designated places of work, and then we would come back and then have dinner with the children, kind of do our night routine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that advice, I would give that advice to a couple right now going in, in the on the rocks or whatever the case may be. Quarantine from each other. Quarantine from
Yes.
each other. Give each other some space. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you work from home, if you still work from home, go into the living room, or, and one other partner go into the room,
Mm-hmm.
and work, do what you got to do, and then come back together and say, hey, so how was your day? Like,
Mm-hmm.
give each other that space, because we do need it,
Yes.
and it's important that we have our space because that's what we're used to.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the other advice that I would give is to seek help. There's so many
Yes.
resources out there. There's
Yes.
so many people out there doing great, counseling, and there's marriage counselors out there. And we don't
Mm-hmm.
have to go anywhere. The power of technology, you could
Mm-hmm.
actually be on a conversation just like this with, a therapist, where someone could actually walk you through the issues that you guys are having. It doesn't
Yes.
have to be it doesn't have to be, you don't have to give up on it. And I can't stress it enough. Do not give up on your marriage. Do not give
Yes.
up on each
Don't
other.
give up.
Have to work at it, because the same way we wake up every day and go to work and work for that paycheck,
Yes.
listen, it's the same way you have
Amen.
to work for your marriage. It's the same way you have to
Amen.
work for the person that you love. Remember how you guys fell in love, how,
Mhm.
when you guys met. Remember those things. Talk about those things so that you can rekindle that love. Have date nights. Just because we're home in quarantine doesn't mean that we can't date. There's so
That's
many cute ideas out there. Like, have a movie night, have a karaoke night.
right.
It's so many things that we can do. Do not give up on your marriage, because marriage is a beautiful thing. The love that you guys have for each other, continue it. Just go on. And with God, all things are possible. Turn it to God.
Amen.
All
Yes, with
things are
our
possible.
God, all
Okay.
things are possible. Yes. So, what made you and your husband start the Love Works mentoring program?
So just for this, just exactly what I was talking about, we love marriage, and we love to inspire couples. We love to encourage couples to keep on going through your journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my husband and I, it just simply started as us wanting to share our story, because we have a story that needs to be told, our testimony that needs to be told and heard out there, to encourage people and to encourage couples that it doesn't have to end because in sickness and in health. In sickness and in health, those vows that we take, those vows are serious and
Yeah.
sacred. Your marriage is sacred. So we wanted to share our story and inspire couples and encourage them. And so it all, believe it or not, it all started as videos, like really quick 10-minute videos of us telling couples on tips on how to save their marriage, or how to to date in marriage, and
Mhm.
or how to continue to date, how to continue to love your spouse, how to argue the right way. So those are the kind of videos and tips that we were doing on our Instagram page. And so many people had, like, oh my gosh, you guys inspire us, you guys are so cute, you guys are like the cutest ever. So we didn't know that we would be such a powerful testimony, and such a powerful thing for everyone. So then we were kind of like, oh, okay. And God just stirred up in us, and he put that vision in our head, and he put that vision in our hearts. And we kind of was like, okay, we're doing this, so so we just wanted to inspire couples and just help couples on their journey, especially premarital, because these young couples are going into this marriage not knowing what to expect, and we kind of want them to learn with the right resources and the right tools. Do you know how successful you could be in your marriage? So we wanted to give those tools to premarital couples and for people who are already married, and that's how it all kind of birthed into this beautiful LoveWorks mentoring. So we want to mentor couples and help them on their journey of oneness.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And I love it. So go ahead and give everyone some information on the mentoring program, how they can connect with you and be a part of that, and hear your tip videos that you post every week.
Absolutely. So on our Instagram page, if you do have Instagram, you can follow us at Prophet_Queen She, with 2 E's at the end. So, and it's under there as well. So that's where we do our quick tip videos, and that's where we do our little funny videos sometimes, because in this quarantine, child, we need to laugh, honey, because so that's where we do our videos and stuff like that. And you can also find us on Facebook at LoveWorks Mentoring. LoveWorks Mentoring is our Facebook page, and our website, our number is all there for you to call us, email us, and our website is on there. You can actually do sessions with us. We have sessions where it's 1 session. We also have where it's 3 sessions or 5. So you can pick whatever your service you need from us, and that's where you will find all of our information.
All right, please connect with Sheena and her husband if you need any help with your marriage, or you're thinking about getting married. Please connect with them. So now we're going to turn the conversation to a sad part in your life. A death of a loved one is very hard to deal with. The loss you feel when a loved one dies is not the worst feeling in the world. Missing them for the rest of your life is the worst. Describe your relationship with your mother to the day you found out she passed away.
Yes. So my mom was the most, if I could describe her, the most laid back, very, very sweet woman, very, meek, and very just real, like real, like she was like what you would poise.
Okay.
She was so poised, and I definitely got all of my traits from her, because that's how people would describe me as well. She was a praying woman. She loved Jesus. Jesus was her little best friend. Okay, so she introduced me to the faith as well, and I praise God for that, because every time she would go to church, she would take me right along with her, and I was a sheltered child per se, because growing up in the Caribbean household, like I said previously, we are of Haitian descent, and my mom and my father are from Haiti, and so especially with the little girls, they are very, like, they little girls need to be home. You can't go to no parties. You can't do nothing, or whatever the case may be. So she did shelter me. However, because of that, our relationship was closer. I guess you would call it, I was naive to whatever was in the world that she was sheltering me from. So I didn't really care for it to actually have that, that that life, I guess you would say.
Uh-huh.
But her and I, we did have a very close relationship. She would always give me tips and always tell me, Sheena, don't do this, or Sheena, don't you ever, do that, blah, blah, blah.
Uh-huh.
So I think she was kind of sheltering me from the mistakes that she had done in
Mm-hmm.
her past so that I wouldn't do the same mistakes. You understand what I'm saying? And
Yes.
it's kind of like, my daughter and I right now, because, I find myself I guess you could say mentoring now, like kind of raising her up. So the same
Mm-hmm.
mistakes that I had in the past, I don't want her to do.
Okay.
So that's the type of relationship my mother and I had. We had a pretty close relationship. I would follow her everywhere she goes. Like, she would go to the grocery store, I'm there. She'd go to church, I'm there. Every prayer service, I was there,
Yeah.
So we had a really, really close relationship. She absolutely loved me and adored me. I was her only girl, and she had two boys after me. So everything was me, So unfortunately, she was sick, and I did know that she was sick. And crazy enough, she didn't really know that I knew she was sick,
Uh-huh.
but further on, when she got more fragile, she kind of opened up to me and kind of told me what was going on. However, I knew beforehand. So crazy enough, Brittany, I was kind of preparing myself. It sounds kind of crazy, right? It sounds crazy, but I
Right.
just knew that her journey was, coming to an end. So I was preparing myself, and so I could be strong for my brothers, so I can be strong for the family. So, but I took those moments to kind of always be with her. And
Mm-hmm.
I took those moments. I'm so, 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 so grateful for the times that we had together. I'm so, so grateful for the times that she had with my children, because
Mm-hmm.
they grew up in her hand. She was able to take care of them, while
Mm-hmm.
I went to work and everything like that. She loved her grandkids. And funny enough, my uncle did tell me she did unfortunately pass about 2 or 3 years ago. And my uncle did tell me that he was like, your mom always told me that, as long as I get to see my baby girl, my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
get married and have kids, I think I'm good. So I felt like she was almost preparing herself as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely thank God for the time that we had together. And, I just want to tell people that appreciate your loved ones now, appreciate
Yes.
them when they're in your face, give them their flowers now. So when they're able to smell it, so
Mm-hmm.
that, you don't regret later on, oh, I wish I had more time. I wish I had more time. I definitely wish my mom was still here, because I want her to see her grandkids grow up and all the accomplishments that her two sons have accomplished. But unfortunately, that wasn't that wasn't the case. And for me, I feel like for whatever God's will is in my life, and anybody's life, it is what it is. And she did go home, and she's I know I had the hope that it's not goodbye forever. It's just goodbye for now, because I will
No.
see her in heaven when we all, get to heaven.
Meet again. Yeah. You're so strong, Sheena. I mean, I
Thank you.
admire your strength
Thank
to deal
you.
with the diagnosis of your husband, being a mom, a wife, losing your mom. Um, I couldn't imagine that because both of my parents are still living. So you're strong. And so strong women are simply born. They are
Yeah.
made by the storms they walk through. You can't break them because they get their strength from God. Please tell me about some storms you have gone through that equipped you to be the strong woman you are today.
Yeah, there are some storms, huh? We all go through them, right? But
Yes.
there's two situations that I could actually think of that has made me the person that I am today, and I kind of want to harp on them because of what we see today in our times now with mental health and all of the things that are surrounding the whole mental health stigma. For me, there was two situations where there were two people who was abusing their leadership, if you will, where to the point where because of their abusive leadership, my name or my character got dragged into it. So my character was being assassinated, and people were talking about me and like questioning my faith, almost questioning my professionalism and stuff like that. And during that time, it affected me greatly, Brittany, to the point where I had to go to the hospital because of these situations. And the doctors was asking me questions like, your numbers, all of your numbers are good, your heart is good and everything like that. What, are you going through anything right now? Or what type of stress that you're going through right now that is causing this issue? Mm-hmm. And I did explain to them, yes, I'm going through something right now where it's, really affecting me. And to the point where they had to give me shots, to kind of relax me and everything like that. And, when I think back at those situations, it really affected my health and my mental health, because I was questioning myself. I was questioning things that what I was doing and stuff like that. And of course I'm a big, woman of God, and I my faith is strong or whatever the case may be. But at that moment I couldn't really, I don't know, it was just like, I couldn't really, rely, or call on God. Like, I didn't think I was worthy enough or whatever the case may be, Mm-hmm. So, what happened was I had to snap back, and I had to realize I needed to get over that. And with, of course, with time and with me, going through therapy and everything like that, and really going within myself, knowing that I am more than a conqueror, and, the affirmations that I needed to tell myself and turn to God and say that, I'm bigger than this, and this is not going to mess with me, or this is not going to stop me from my journey that God called me to do. This will not stop me from doing what I have to do. And those affirmations that I kept on telling myself, you are beautiful. You are, who God says you are. You are created in His likeness. Yes. And so I had to definitely overcome those things, and just know that God had me, and He gave me that strength to get out of that, Mm-hmm. And I had to protect my mental health. You have to protect your mental health, because if you don't, then it affects your health. It affects everything. So we have to understand that once you let these things, you cannot let other people's insecurities affect you, or assassinate your character, or, let all of that in your head, and just totally, disturbs your mental health. So I want to let people know your mental health is crucial to your whole life being, so protect your health, protect who you have around you, those people who are negative around you, protect your space, protect who your, who your friends are, like, make sure that they know that the negativity is not what you stand for, and that's how you protect yourself as a whole, as a being,
Yes, I'm so happy that you took care of yourself and got better from this situation, and God gave you the strength to get through it. So now I want to know, what motivates you?
So my motivations are my children. I guess they motivate me every morning to wake up and strive for greatness, because I want them to strive for greatness. So I want them to have a good example of what greatness could look like. If you apply yourself, if you do what you have to do, if you go ahead and strive with God's strength, it is possible. And so they motivate me to wake up every morning and do my best, because I require them to do their best whenever everything that they have to do.
That is so true. Be the person you want to have in your life. Who is your biggest influence?
So my biggest influence would have to be it was my mom, of
Okay.
course. She definitely, like I said previously, the characteristics that she possessed is what I possess now. And
Mm-hmm.
being very, not quick to answer, not quick to reply, or not quick to say things on the top of your head, making sure
Mm-hmm.
that you stop and think and pause and think about things. And she has such a sweet demeanor, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what I possess as well. And so she is definitely one of my biggest influence, and she introduced me to faith, and I thank God for that, because my faith is really a huge part of my life. And so I definitely think she was definitely one of the biggest influencers in my life.
My mom is my biggest influence as
Oh,
well, and I know she's
oh,
watching. So shout out to my
hi, mom.
mom. All right, so Sheena, it has been great having you on this show, and I hope people are inspired by your story. You're so strong, your strength, being a wonderful wife, mother, and supporter and child of God. Thank you so much for your time, and please connect with Sheena. She is amazing. She's an amazing person. And if you need help with your marriage, please reach out to her and her husband. They are a great duo. When I tell you, when we see them, they are so fun and playful and just real, real,
Yes,
real. So,
yes.
well, thank you, Sheena. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. Tune in next week for our new guest, and I will be posting it on my Facebook channel, Brittany's Garners for right now. So yeah, talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.